Level 1. The recruited. You're 14 years old in Maracay, Venezuela, and the city is eating itself. Your father left 4 years ago. Not left, disappeared. One day he was there, and then he wasn't. And your mother stopped talking about it, and you learned not to ask. The bolivar is worthless. Your mother works 2 jobs and comes home with enough money to buy maybe 3 days of food. The shelves at the corner store have been half empty for 2 years. This is not a crisis anymore. This is just a country. You run with a group of boys from the barrio. Not a gang, not yet. Just boys who have nowhere to go and nothing to lose, and too much time on their hands in a city where the lights go out for 6 hours every day because the power grid is failing. A man named Carlos finds you on a Tuesday afternoon. Carlos is 23, and he has a gold chain and clean sneakers, and he doesn't look like he's hungry. In Maracay in 2023, that's all it takes. He tells you there's a place where boys like you can earn, where loyalty means something, where you're protected. He doesn't say the name right away. He doesn't have to. Everyone in the barrio knows what Tocorón is. Everyone knows who runs it. You go with Carlos on a Tuesday. Level 2. Tocorón. Tocorón Penitentiary is Venezuela's most notorious prison. It holds 1,700 inmates in a facility built for 750. What the government doesn't tell you is that the government doesn't actually run it. Tren de Aragua runs it. They've been running it since 2014. The inmates elect their own leadership. They operate their own business inside the walls. There's a pool, a zoo with a bear and a deer, a nightclub that opens on weekends, restaurants, a gym, TV sets on every block. The guards stay in their posts by the entrance and look the other way because the alternative is worse. You enter through the civilian entrance, vouched for by Carlos. You're not a prisoner, you're a recruit. This is how they build the organization. Not by recruiting from the streets, but by bringing people into the Tocorón as apprentices. You learn the hierarchy from inside the machine. The man who runs Tocorón is Hector Guerrero Flores, known as Nino Guerrero, Little Warrior. He's in his early 30s and he controls the prison the way a mayor controls a city. He has a phone, he has internet, he has men on the outside who take his calls and carry out his orders. He has never been officially released, and he runs a criminal empire that now operates in 12 countries. You don't meet him. You're 14. You're nobody yet. You meet his lieutenants. You're given a job. You watch. You learn. You understand that this organization works because it's disciplined, because it has rules, because the people who follow the rules get paid and protected, and the people who don't disappear. You decide very quickly which category you want to be in. Level 3. The Puntero. Your first real job is as a Puntero, a lookout. You stand on a corner in the neighborhood outside Tocorón and you watch. You watch for police. You watch for rival gang members. You watch for anyone who looks like they don't belong. You have a cheap prepaid phone and a number to call if you see something. You stand on that corner for 6 months. 6 months sounds like nothing. 6 months is everything when you're 14, turning 15, and you're learning how an organization breathes. You learn the shift patterns of local police. You learn which officers are paid off and which ones aren't. You learn which corners belong to you and what happens when someone crosses into them. You learn that Tren de Aragua doesn't fight for territory the way the old gangs did. They don't want the corner. They want the tax on the corner, the extortion free, the vacuna, the vaccination they call it, because you're paying to be protected from them. Every business in the zone pays. The bodega, the motorcycle taxi driver, the food cart operator, the car wash, everyone. You collect for 2 blocks, $100 a week in a country where a nurse makes $40 a month. You keep 20, you pass the rest up the chain. You are now officially part of the chain. Level 4, the runner. At 16, you start moving product. Tren de Aragua doesn't manufacture drugs. They tax the people who do. They control the corridors, the roads, the border crossings, the river routes. that cocaine and marijuana and synthetic drugs travel through on their way north. If you want to move product through their territory, you pay. If you want them to move it for you, you pay more. You carry packages you're not supposed to open. You take buses and motorcycles and sometimes cars, and you deliver things from one person to another person, and you ask no questions. The less you know, the less you can tell anyone. You cross into Colombia twice. The border at San Antonio del Taquira is porous, and everyone on both sides know it. You have contacts on the Colombian side. You hand over packages and receive packages, and you come back with money in your shoes. You're making real money now, not street money, money that means something. You send some home. Your mother doesn't ask where it comes from. She stopped asking questions too. You are 17 years old, and you have crossed an international border with narcotics 3 times, and you have not been caught, and you have not been killed. And in this organization, that means you have potential. A lieutenant named Wilmer calls you in and tells you there's more work if you want it. You want it. Level 5, the Sicario. This is the level where most people stop. Not because they can't handle what comes next, because what comes next is irreversible. The things you do at this level cannot be undone. The person you were before this level doesn't come back. You understand this. You do it anyway. Your first job is a man who owes money. He borrowed from the organization and stopped paying. You and 2 other men go to his house at 2 a.m. You are not there to talk. There's no conversation. There's no second chance. The organization gave him 3 warnings already. You are the 4th warning, which is a different kind of warning. You go home after and you sit in the dark and you wait to feel something specific. Regret or horror or guilt. The things you are supposed to feel. What you feel is nothing. You wait for the nothing to pass and it doesn't, and eventually you go to sleep. This is the thing they don't tell you about this work. The first time is the hardest, and it is not that hard. Your brain builds a wall around it, and you keep going, and the walls get higher. By the 3rd time, the wall is high enough that you're not even looking over it anymore. You are 18 years old. You are a Sicario for the fastest growing criminal organization in Latin America. You have 3 phones, and you change them every 2 weeks. You have 2 safe houses you rotate between. You have enough money that you never think about money. You think about everything else. Level 6, the Lucero. The organization is expanding. When Venezuela collapses, and by 2021 it had collapsed, the economy destroyed, 7 million people fled. Tren de Aragua follows its people. The Venezuelan diaspora spreads to Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Brazil, and wherever the diaspora goes, the organization goes with them, because the diaspora needs protection, and protection is what the organization sells. A Lucero is a cell leader. You are sent north. You cross into Colombia with 9 men. You establish a cell in Bogota's Kennedy district, a neighborhood with a high Venezuelan migrant population. Your job is to stand up the operation from zero, find the blocks, establish the tax, identify the local gangs and determine if they can be worked with or need to be removed, get product moving through the distribution network. You are 20 years old, running 9 men in a foreign city. The work is same as Venezuela, but harder because you have no relationships here. You have to build them from nothing. You have to make people afraid of you before you can make them pay you. Fear is infrastructure. You build it deliberately, surgically, with exactly enough violence to make the point and not enough to bring the police down so hard they can't be managed. You establish the cell in 40 days, 6 blocks under tax, 4 distribution points, a safe house network, reliable corruption relationships with 2 local officers. You report back to Tocorón via encrypted app. Nino Guerrero's people send a response. Good, move further north. Level 7, the coordinator. You are in the United States now. This isn't what the news stories describe. You didn't storm a border. You didn't come home with weapons drawn. You came through a legal port of entry on a tourist visa, then disappear into a city where 100,000 Venezuelans already live and work and send money home. You are in New York, then Houston, then Chicago, then Denver. You are coordinating cells, not running one. 7 cells across 4 cities, 43 men. The network makes money from the same things it always made money from: extortion, trafficking, drugs. But in America, the numbers are different. The extortion from a business in Aurora, Colorado pays 50 times what the business paid in McRae. The American authorities don't fully understand what they're dealing with yet. They're used to gangs with territories. Tren de Aragua doesn't care about territory. They care about revenue streams. They will operate in a city for 6 months, extract everything they can, and move before anyone has put the picture together. You move constantly. Different hotels, different cities, different phones. You communicate with Tocorón through layers of encrypted message and intermediaries. You are a ghost in a country that doesn't know your name. Then comes January 2026. RICO indictments, 19 members charged in New York, federal warrants, ICE operations across multiple states. The FBI's transnational organization crime unit has been building this case for 2 years, and now it breaks open. You get a message from a contact before it hits the news. Leave now. Level 8, the fugitive. You have 6 hours before anyone is looking for you specifically. You use them. You move to a safe house in a city you've never operated in. You cut all communication except one channel. You wait. The indictment is 47 pages. You don't see it, but your lawyer does, and he tells you what's in it. Double murder, sex trafficking across state lines, murder for hire, RICO conspiracy. The federal government has been watching for longer than you knew. There are informants. There are wiretaps. There is surveillance footage you didn't know existed. The State Department posts a $4 million reward for information leading to your arrest. You are 23 years old, and you are the subject of a federal manhunt in the United States, wanted in 2 other countries, and named in a congressional act. You think about the man from Carlos's gold chain in Maracay, the clean sneakers, the way he looked like he wasn't hungry. You think about whether you would make the same choice again at 14, knowing what it cost. You sit in a room in a city you can't name with a phone you'll throw away tomorrow, and you think about that question for a long time. You don't answer it, because the answer doesn't change anything. The chain started when you were 14 and couldn't see where it ended. Now you can see where it ends, and the chain is already too long to walk back. You get up, you make a call, you move. This is what the organization does. It doesn't stop. It doesn't surrender. It moves and it rebuilds, and it finds the next corridor and the next city and the next recruit who's 14 years old and hungry and can't see where the chain ends. Somewhere in Maracay, right now, a boy is standing on a corner. A man with a gold chain is walking toward him. The cycle doesn't end. It never ends. Tren de Aragua is now designated a foreign terrorist organization by the United States government. The State Department has offered $12 million in total bounties for information on its leadership. Over 300 members have been arrested across 12 countries in the past 18 months. Hector Nino Guerrero Flores remains at large. He is believed to be 34 years old. He was once someone's 14-year-old boy.